everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about the Epstein files, or lack thereof, coming out of the DOJ, the FBI, Pam Bondi, the Trump administration. I mean, they all promised pretty much that we were going to see the Epstein files. We were going to see flight lists. We were going to hear about who went to that island, who were these celebrities possibly, who were these rich people that participated in whatever happened on that island. And now they are saying that there are no files. There's nothing to see here. They're also reaffirming that Epstein definitely committed suicide, and they put out a video showing a time-stamped video in front of the doors of the prison where he was, showing that nothing happened, completely quiet night, and when they went in the morning, he was dead. So this whole thing, I mean, I personally am disturbed by it. I'm frustrated with the Trump administration. I'm frustrated with Pam Bondi and Kash Patel and the FBI, because they made it seem, and this was like in February, they made it seem like they were going to blow the lid off. They were going to let us know all this information, and now they're saying there's nothing to see here. So I don't know. I'm skeptical. A lot of people are outraged. A lot of people are calling for Pam Bondi. This is on the internet, of course. A lot of people are calling for her to resign. Can she be trusted? I mean, I don't know. It looks like they're lying, and it looks very suspicious, and it's frustrating. So let me clarify, not that I care about this guy. I mean, obviously, in my opinion, he was a scumbag, and he should have been convicted and sent to prison for the rest of his life. But unfortunately, he is dead now, so he will never be prosecuted. But it's not that I cared so much about this person. I just truly feel that the American public has a right to know about this stuff, to have this stuff revealed, just like we were promised. That's how I feel about it. So we're not going to get that. They're saying there's nothing. It's a nothing burger. Let's look at a little ABC video here, kind of describing the whole story in a nutshell.
Federal investigators have released more information about the Jeffrey Epstein files. They did that overnight. ABC's Andrew Denver takes a closer look at what they shared and the conspiracy theories now being rejected.
Overnight, the FBI and Justice Department releasing 11 hours of footage they say helps confirm notorious financier Jeffrey Epstein died by suicide in his Manhattan jail cell in 2019, awaiting his sex trafficking trial. According to a memo detailing the findings, investigators found the video showed no one entering the area in the overnight hours before Epstein was found unresponsive. But perhaps the biggest bombshell, investigators say they found no incriminating client list of Epstein's, no credible evidence that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals, and no evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties. For years, Epstein has been at the center of conspiracies surrounding both his death and a rumored client list allegedly used to blackmail powerful men. Attorney General Pam Bondi, back in February, was asked if the Justice Department intended to release a list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients, Bondi saying this.
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that.
So have you seen anything that you said, oh my gosh?
Not yet.
And just last month, while feuding with President Trump, Elon Musk posting, "Time to drop the really big bomb. At real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, Donald J. Trump." But Musk later deleted that post and others, saying he went too far in attacking Trump. The president saying he cut ties with Epstein nearly 2 decades ago, saying even Epstein's lawyer cleared him. Andrew Dimber, ABC News, New York.
Now,
investigators have released.
The thing of note there is Pam Bondi said, I have the file or the list on my desk, and I'm going to review it, and then we're going to release it. So that's the important part to make note of there. And here's another clip of her speaking about the same thing.
Because a lot of people are wondering, because you said last week that you have the Epstein files on your desk, is when can we see them and what's taking so long to release them?
I do. Jesse, there are well over, this will make you sick, 200 victims. 200. So we have, well over 250 actually. So we have to make sure that their identity is protected and their personal information. But other than that, I think tomorrow, the personal information of victims. Other than that, I think tomorrow, Jesse, breaking news right now, you're going to see some Epstein information being released.
Breaking news.
By my office.
What kind? Are we going to see who was on the flights? Are we going to see any evidence from what he recorded? Because he had all of his homes wired with recording devices.
Yeah. What you're going to see, hopefully tomorrow, is a lot of flight logs, a lot of names, a lot of information. But it's pretty sick what that man did.
Now, there she is saying we're going to see flight logs. We are going to see names. We're going to hear names of people. This was 4 months ago in February. Now, here's Alina Habba talking to Piers Morgan, basically reiterating the same thing.
Talking of another puzzle, the Jeffrey Epstein files, we're told, are to be imminently unleashed. And already we saw the Attorney General Pam Bondi say that the scale of what happened is far worse than anyone realized. Well over 200, maybe 250 victims, and that we're going to get information either later today or tomorrow from these files. What can you tell me about that?
I believe it will be today. I was just with, I saw Pam and Cash in the White House.
This is 4 months ago in February, FYI.
Just before coming on your show. And I can tell you that I haven't been privy to it yet, but I know it is coming out. They will be taking portions of it. We have to be patient. And I said this last night at a dinner with some media. And I said, I think America needs to remember one thing. We are going to be promises made, promises kept. But when you're dealing with victims, and by the way, this is a perfect example of a case that was vetted, that went through trial, that had testimony, and was prosecuted the right way. I don't preemptively attack. That's just not the way I operate. But in this case, in Epstein's case, it is incredibly disturbing. We have flight logs, we have information, names that will come out.
Is it going to be shocking?
I don't see how it's not shocking that there were so many individuals that were hidden and kept secret and not been held accountable. Let's talk about the reverse. I believe in accountability. So you have to now go through your process. Now, I won't say they're guilty until they go through their time in court. But again, now it's time for accountability. We have seen for so many years, Pierce, in this country, many investigations, subpoenas, testimonies in Congress, et cetera, et cetera. But there's a general frustration with accountability. We take it halfway. We don't take it home.
Exactly. Don't take it home. Now, she's talking about people, that they are going to reveal possibly being prosecuted. There had to be a lot of people on these lists. I mean, making an assumption, of course. Now, here is Caroline Leavitt, and she gave a press conference and, of course, was questioned about this stuff. And this is the first time that I really feel like she is doing damage control, that she is lying here.
The DOJ and FBI have now concluded there was no Jeffrey Epstein client list. What do you tell MAGA supporters who say they want anyone involved in Jeffrey Epstein's alleged crimes to be held accountable?
This administration wants anyone who has ever committed a crime to be held accountable, and I would argue this administration has done more to lock up bad guys than certainly the previous administration. And the Trump administration is committed to truth and to transparency. That's why the Attorney General and the FBI Director pledged at the President's direction to do an exhaustive review of all of the files related to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes and his death. And they put out a memo in conclusion of that review. There was material they did not release because, frankly, it was incredibly graphic and it contained child pornography, which is not something that's appropriate for public consumption.
Now, I mean, that's a given. Nobody's asking for that. Nobody wants to see that. But we definitely thought we were going to see a client list.
But they committed to an exhaustive investigation. That's what they did, and they provided the results of that. That's transparency.
Follow up on that,
Sure.
Caroline. Okay, so The FBI looks at the circumstances surrounding the death of Jeffrey Epstein. According to the report, this systematic review revealed no incriminating client list. So what happened to the Epstein client list that the Attorney General said she had on her desk?
Well, I think if you go back and look at what the Attorney General said in that interview, which was on your network, on Fox News.
Got the quote.
Go ahead.
John Roberts said, DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen? And she said, it's sitting on my desk right now to review.
Yes, she was saying the entirety of all of the paperwork, all of the paper in relation to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes. That's what the Attorney General was referring to, and I'll let her speak for that.
To me, that sounds like a total lie. She is trying to say that she was talking about the files in totality, not the client list. And Pam Bondi definitely implied that she had the client list on her desk and was going to review it. And Caroline Leavitt just seems like she's doing damage control here and not telling the truth.
But again, when it comes to the FBI and the Department of Justice, they are more than committed to ensuring that bad people are put behind bars. They have an operation going on right now called
I mean, that's what they say, but I don't know. This last clip I thought was pretty interesting. This was the cabinet meeting today in the White House. And once again, of course, Epstein came up. A reporter wanted to ask Pam Bondi a question, and Trump jumps in. And you'll see what happens here real quick.
Sure. Your memo and release yesterday on Jeffrey Epstein, it left some lingering mysteries. One of the biggest ones is whether he ever worked for an American or foreign intelligence agency. The former Labor Secretary, who was Miami U.S. Attorney Alex Costa, he allegedly said that he did work for an intelligence agency. So could you resolve whether or not he did? And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the night of the death?
Yeah, sure. If I
Could I just interrupt for 1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration, but you go ahead.
Now, I find that little jump in by him, I find it curious because what does he mean? Are we really talking about Epstein? The information that they were not going to be releasing any kind of a list, any kind of a flight log just came out a day or two ago. So it is fresh. Everybody is interested. A lot of people are, angry about it, outraged, suspicious. They're calling for Pam Bondi to resign. And for Trump to jump in like that and say, are you really going to talk about him now? This creep, this whatever. It just seems very odd to me, very suspicious.
Sure. First, to back up on that, in February, I did an interview on Fox, and it's been getting a lot of attention because I was asked a question about the client list, and my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that. Also, to the tens of thousands of video, they turned out to be child porn downloaded by that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein. Child porn is what they were. Never going to be released, never going to see the light of day. To him being an agent, I have no knowledge about that. We can get back to you on that. And the minute missing from the video, we released the video showing definitively. The video was not conclusive, but the evidence prior to it was showing he committed suicide. And what was on that, there was a minute that was off the counter. And what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. So every night the video is reset, and every night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every.
I don't know about that. I mean, what she said there at the end about the video with a minute missing didn't make sense to me. But in conclusion, I've always been, a Trump supporter, but I am suspicious of the administration right now. I don't believe them. I don't believe Pam Bondi. I think for some reason they are not releasing the list. They're not releasing a flight log of anyone who flew to that island. And, the other thing is, let's say you don't have a list that Epstein kept of people that came to the island that he supposedly was blackmailing. You have 260 victims. Now I know, some of them were underage and but you can't get information from people who were violated on that island. Do they know who violated them? Do they have any information about who was on that island? Even, Giselle Maxwell, who is in prison, she obviously knows who was there. She brought people to the island for, Epstein and whoever else was there. She would have information. The whole thing seems very suspicious to me. I just flat out think that they are lying straight up. And it's just always the same thing. These rich, elite people always seem to get away with committing crimes and they never are held accountable. And it's frustrating. That's the part that makes me mad because I feel like people are not going to be held accountable. And they should be. They violated people. I mean, young girls, underage girls. And it's very frustrating to me that they're saying now, there's nothing here, nothing to see. Nobody is going to be indicted or exposed or brought to trial or anything. So I don't know. What do you guys think? I think they're lying, but let me know what you think. Is it a nothing burger to you? Do you think that they are lying? Do you think that they are covering it up for some reason? Let me know in the comments. I really appreciate your comment and your opinions, and I appreciate you supporting the channel as well. And I will see you guys on the next one. Thanks.